we have the duel of all duels every year. Penn State v. Iowa in Penn State at Bryce Jordan Center. Um, number one, number two, and I will, Ryan, I will text all the pictures. I mean, Micah Parsons, Ashton
Mhm.
Kutcher. This is the one. And if you have never seen and think that two guys in singlets is a little light on the feet or whatever, watch this duel tomorrow or Friday night, and it'll blow your socks off. It has all the drama of a Colombian novella or Korean novella. It's gonna have the shit talking. It's gonna have the athleticism. It will have black versus white. It will have good versus bad. Tom Brands and the amazing Christian man that Kale Sanderson and the program he runs. It has it all. And this year, more than any, I believe, and Ryan, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I think this year is maybe the year that Iowa maybe takes that step and beats Penn State and knocks them off of that Mount Everest that they've been sitting on for 11 years now at this point.
I wouldn't
What?
go that far. I wouldn't go that far because honestly, this could be the best lineup that Penn State has ever had. And
Wow.
I say that relative to competition, right? Like obviously they've had major dogs in the past, Ed Ruth and David Taylor. They've had, major guys in their
Yeah.
lineup. But relative to competition, this could be the best Penn State team that we've ever seen. Last year they broke their points record at
Jeez.
NCAAs.
Yeah.
They could potentially do that this year. Every single person in their lineup is ranked 7 and above. So literally the highest ranked guys in their lineup are 7th, and that's 125 and 133, and that's only because both guys took recent losses. And the true freshman at 125, Luke Lillidahl, is a multiple time age level world finalist, 2-time world gold medalist, and just had his first loss of the season. Went in 11-0 and lost to was a round of 12 guy and Dean Peterson from Rutgers just last week. So they are probably the most high powered that we've ever seen them. And I mean, Iowa did beat them a couple of years ago in a duel in Carver. And it was, kind of surprising, but Penn State this year is probably the toughest they're ever going to be, because of the guys that they have in their lineup right now with Carter Sirachi and Greg Kirkley at 84 and heavyweight. Those guys are going to be gone next year. Carter Sirachi trying to become the first ever 5-time NCAA champion. He hasn't lost a match since 2021, I think. Last year doesn't really count. They were medical forfeits. You don't
Yeah.
count those. They do count against his record, but nobody actually counts medical forfeits, to be completely honest. But no, it's going to be a really good duel. I will say that there are a couple of weight classes where Iowa can do some damage. There's a couple of number 1 versus number 2 ranked guys in the country that are going to hit. There's some trash talking at 184 between Gabe Arnold, who's a redshirt freshman, and Carter Sirachi, who's, as I said, is the reigning NCAA champion 4 straight years. So there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of drama in this one. It is at the Bryce Jordan. Penn State fans are going to show up. Hostile environment. Kale Sanderson, the head coach, Tom Brands, and his brother Terry, the head and assistant coaches. Like, there's a lot that's going to be going on in this one. We did a preview of this on my show, the Intermat Wrestling Podcast, so you can check that out on YouTube. But it's going to be fun. It's really going to be fun. Everybody is going to be tuned in this week. Penn State's weakest weight class is probably 133, I would say. Some people would say 197, but they have a kid that was a world runner up at
Yeah.
197. That's a freshman that is top 4 right now. And I think he's actually a title contender. He's undersized. He should probably be a 184, but he's wrestling up at 197 and he's undefeated and he's beating the hell out of people. 133, where Braden Davis was their 125 last year. He's up at 133. He's kind of wishy-washy. He's lost some matches to guys that he probably shouldn't lose to this year. So it's not going to be easy for them in that weight class, mostly because he's wrestling Drake Ayala, who's a returning NCAA finalist from last year, was a runner-up last year for Iowa, and is honestly really, really good and has been good for his entire life. So, yeah, the real question: NC State versus UNC. I'm sorry,
Oh,
but I may be repping today. This was more to put
oh,
Oh no!
to
more to put
appease
Eddie at ease.
me.
It's not
Oh,
gonna be good for UNC. It's
oh,
not. It is not. It's gonna be
wow.
tough. It's gonna be closer than it has been though. I do think it's gonna be closer than it has been. Your son's gonna have to do another thing like he did a couple of years ago against Ed Scott in order to make that shit happen. But
Yeah.
it's gonna be kind of tough. But I do think that it is closer this year than it has been. Hopefully they make me eat crow. Hopefully it is truly a rivalry that we have. But there's some really good guys in the UNC lineup. I will say that. NC State still kind of getting it together at 33. Kairini dropping back down from being up at 141. So yeah, I think it is going to be good though. It is certainly going to be good, but it is going to be pretty close.